welcome to another Heroes Launch cast. We are slowly but steadily finishing up our season 19, and right now we are here to bring you a Division 2 Cup final. I'm Yash. Joining me today is Marlo. Good evening. How is it?
How are you, Heroes Lounge members and enthusiastic persons that want to watch this? I think horrific and probably very tense finals coming at us. One quick overview here. What previously happened before we went live is that Boosted Böppeltruppe and Super Unstoppabros are facing off here in the grand finals, and we have given advance here possible from Boosted Böppeltruppe. They started with banning Volskaya. Then Super Unstoppable Bros followed up with a Dragonshire ban. Afterwards, the second ban phase followed up with Gun of Terror, and last but not least, Luca from Super Unstoppable Bros decided to ban Powers of Doom. And now we are finding ourselves here in the first map, the Shrines, we picked here from Boosted Böppeltruppe. See how this one will go.
I'm
Starting.
honestly a bit uh, of two minds about the Shrines pick. On one hand, I am a noted opponent of of Infernal Shrines, and I'm not a big fan of the game of the map. But on the other hand, it is a map that literally every single team in launch knows how to play on. So a very nice little introduction to the series, allowing the teams to ease in and allowing us to get our bearings a little bit to figure out how the teams play. I'm also interested in the fact that both teams seem to be pretty low in the seedings because top eight out of the Swiss stage make playoffs, and both of those teams are not actually the higher seed coming into playoffs, with Böppeltruppe being fifth and Super Unstoppabros actually being seventh. So
Yeah, I
a
think
little
I remember the series I was casting yesterday was like the semifinals next time against the Purple Trapper, where they lost those in turn were I think very high seeded, if I remember it correctly. They might have actually been seed number one. So an interesting difference here that occurred. So it's not always, from start to end having to give full force and then feeling, yeah, okay, if you lost one game, it's already over. Even mid-tier links can always make it to the top. That's why keep having the strong mentals and continue the path.
It's actually pretty interesting now that I'm looking at the bracket standings because Böppeltruppe have ended both games in a five map series, winning against MK Robotics 3-2 and against Nexus Hivemind 3-2, while Super Unstoppabros are yet to take a loss in the cup. So it can go either way. Uh, but I know who I'm rooting for if it goes all the distance.
I also have the strong suspicions if we are biased, that I'm rooting for the actual opposing team of yours. Gosh, I have the strong feeling. But we'll see. We have to reveal it at the end. Who voted for who?
The teams seem to be waiting on the one person who's not currently even in the lobby. Uh, so that is always a pleasure for everyone. But on the other hand, I'm actually quite excited. I don't get to cast high divisions too often, so I know that the meta up here is a lot different from what I'm used to in Division 7. So it's gonna be a bit of a joy to watch and react to some of those plays. We are finally in the draft.
Good, there we go.
So we do have blue team banning first, that being the Super Rose. And yeah, there are a bit of a draft focus on Super Unstoppables because teams are very eager to ban Hammer against them. 21 Hammer bans, not counting just yet as Thrall is taken out, but definitely something to keep an eye on.
And in turn, also realizing here that Booster Böppeltruppe has gotten Lucio Zaban here. I previously mentioned yesterday's series where the Lucio from Kira was very astounding. And actually, they did a big rule swap there since they usually have yes spots being allocated for Kira, and then they switched it around and did a very close sharp series against Nexus Hive Mind. And I would probably think here that Super Unstoppabros looked that one up and here banded first hand. Ban is the follow-up, pretty natural here. Hanzo could also be a target ban. I don't know. What do you think, Josh?
And we do have a Blaze on the first pick. So Blaze, I think, regarded by many as one of the stronger characters in the Nexus at the moment. But Junkrat Johanna as a response, you don't really want to pick an offlaner too early, it seems like.
Yeah, Hogger already banned. Deaga could be an option, but I think they're waiting a little bit for flexible lyric pick while not getting a counter. And there you have your hammer, actually.
Oh,
Already
Lord.
being picked up early. Into Johanna Junket, though, which is maybe not the easiest way to have a comfortable hammer game.
On the other hand,
So,
you do have a very nice frontline in Blaze, and Endun is always here to pull you out if you ever get mined or Johanna or whatever else might happen. The Haka is still open for Samu. I know that the guy is hopelessly in love with that pick. But for this time, it's another Beetle that gets squashed with Anubrak taken out of the draft.
poor Beetle. No Beetle gamers, actually. But yeah, notice that there's a lot of Anoop card banning going on in Division 2. So I think people like to still have that as a niche or tank pick, which I love to see because Anubis over the time, over the years, is always a strong tank, right? Better the players
And
get or like the higher
speaking
this.
of niche picks, well, of course it's niche in Division 7 and Division 6, but a Mephisto is being banned out. Is Mephisto actually more popular in higher divisions? Because down in Division
Yes,
7, it's just a free win after level 20.
yes, in a way, but it really depends on how much melees or like the draft structure looks like. Especially on Infernal Shrines, you have a good spot at like fighting around X area, right? And since triple melee might be popular, but I think it's just maybe because Mephisto dishes out so much damage into Hammer later that
Oh,
they are just doing it
and
now. And
Kalphas as well. Also, I
yeah,
have to point out
no
that
damage.
it's Samo picking the Stukov. I think the guy is usually known as an offlaner, being a substitute player for Böppeltruppe this edition of the cup. But right now, picking up a Stukov. Stukov offlane is a thing that I know to be possible, but I haven't actually seen in action.
Ooh, and the Diablo band so far looks very, very good. Lyric will be followed instantly just to have assurance that you can kind of threaten the front line a little bit with Giant Killer. But I see that Diablo looks, regardless of that, very, very powerful here. No cleanse on the side of boosted Böppeltruppe and combine the jungle that wants to use Riptire during an upwalk. Be a good counter for Super Unstoppable. Last pick decisions. So Falstad securing a late game to the
And
M2.
also having a gust to get people away
Yeah.
from the hammer, because hammer is the name of the game here, it feels like to me, because it's just a pick that does a lot of damage, a lot of siege damage most importantly, but uh, if you can get on top of her, which I think is the main plan for Bubble Trooper, she does get broken apart pretty quickly and pretty easily, so let's see how they will manage to do.
I gotta say though, they have this as a very high comfort com from what I've heard. But preemptively, I would say Boosted Purple Chopper tried to craft a lot of counters against like shutdown picks, you know, a mine around some kind of slow play or position serve it far away from original position or silence. Stop stun, stop. Let's see. I introduce Boosted Purple Chopper. Josh, and you
Uh,
do Super Unstoppabros?
Sure. Let's go on the side of Super Unstoppable Bros. On the left, you have Dummy playing the Diablo, Murloc Racket on the Sergeant Hammer, Moo Juice on the ending, Verus playing the Blaze, and Bruna on the
And then on Boosted Böppeltruppe to the right hand side, we have Kira on Junkrat. Netmorph und Johanna, Brathamster und Lyric, Shuttle und Kelfers, and last but not least, Samu plays as a substitute here on Sugar. Accurate.
Stukov is actually a
Already slapping down the vines, actually.
pretty
Oh, stun
interesting
here
pick
coming up.
for me. Is there's a lot of AoE on the side of Böppeltruppe with Leoric to secure all that, to secure the fact that all of that AoE will hit with an Entomb. But we do have a Stukov, we do have a Kalphas, and Junkrat is also nothing to scoff at in terms of AoE damage. So if Super Unstoppabros bunch up, that might just cause a win for them. But for now, it's going to be a bit of a cookie cutter early game with both teams picking up the soul in mid lane, bot lane, top lane, and setting up for the camps to spawn in right spot.
Yeah, actually, also looking at the wave here, that's something I completely disregarded. There's a lot of range wave here. This could be a good front to back angle here from red team. Something that's very important to note out, because Emma has to siege up and auto take in order to leave now. Speaking of that, also talent-wise, we have the stronger AoE here on Hammer. Advanced artillery, very important here to kind of counterplay the slow. And oh, look at this.
Ooh,
Here's an
that was
engaged on
nice.
Diablo. Dani
Little,
gets out though.
nice little stun by the Kalphas here, but Enduin uses a big safe pick to make sure that none of your tanks or hammers or what have you will get cut out of position. It is a bit of a longer cooldown, of course, but for now, it's better to use a cooldown than not use it, especially when your tank is in trouble. Both teams will pick up their siege camps, and because Super Unstoppabros started from the bottom camps, they get that one as well, earning themselves a small experience.
We okay.
Hammer playing a bit safe, while the rest
Slow
was.
connecting here. Yeah, I don't think Suk of this moment had to trade up.
And the
Curious
rest
to
of the
see,
bros
but
are actually going for the Bruiser camp. A bit weak, in my opinion. Usually teams go there at the 230 mark, as we
yeah.
see Bubble
Or when the
Trooper.
strike gets out.
But I guess there's no harm to do that, especially considering that you're not really losing any waves for it, and also it stays to ensure that they will get the camp before the objective to time it at nice little
Josh,
time
what do
for
you
control.
think on both support level 4 choices? They are kinda unusual or very situational to see. What's your take on it? Anduin and both Sukov.
So here going for some more crowd control seemingly with the second group. I I'm usually almost always picking that one. So it doesn't look too strange for me, but who knows, maybe the meta in higher divisions is a lot different. And well, it probably is a lot different. The level of execution available to the players is just considerably higher. Peruna is going to fly in. Leoric is still top lane, which means that
Oh,
Super
stun
Unstoppable
connecting
has
here
the
on
numbers
Junkrat.
advantage. Kira is
And
gonna get
another
stunned by the
stun.
Blaze. There's a
Oi!
hammer, and
Junkrat gets out to take the Ever Blaze. Falling down.
they
First blood.
they find the first blood. So on the other hand, we do have Stukov going for the physical armor, which I honestly think is not too bad. We do have both of the damage dealers on the side of Super Unstoppabros go into that physical damage kind of side with hammer hammer gains by the falsehood and also the hammer, as in the entirety of hammer. I don't think she does much spell damage, but in terms of physical, oh boy, that's so scary.
Hmm. Yeah, I think both build adaptation, usually situational, but very given well in these situations. Shrine defense went pretty fine, but also looking at what kind of Punisher it was, it was not a frozen one, and I expect not to drop what. Despite Junkrat lost before.
That's actually a
Yeah.
pretty nice indicative play for Super Unstoppabros here. They didn't want to stay with the Punisher until it dies. Well, the Punisher was aggro towards the wall as you usually do, but because of the hammer, they get a lot of damage on the wall, and they don't actually stay to kill the rest of the wall, they just go to secure the camp. Unfortunately, the enemy team catches on, and they are
Yeah,
forced to move back, and
looking
now
at the next camp secure, that's a really, really
the
good
force
flank
of
here
flies
with
in,
Murloc
Shuttle
Paquetas
loses a
building
lot
up.
of HP, Peruna goes in, and
Yeah.
that's going to be the second kill, and now Johanna is stuck in the middle of nowhere, essentially, with the team abandoning first. That's going to be a quick 3-0 for the team in blue. And, well, Hammer just kind of shows up. Yeah, that 21 games where she has been banned against the Unstoppabros. That does sound like a pretty good decision now that I look at it.
Yeah, now also taking advantage of the respawning heroes, taking the mid camp on their side. Pulsar once more flexing onto the top lane and giving Blaze the possibility to actually turn the bot side
And Blaze is
into
already
users.
looking for it, but will not find anything, unfortunately. Also, there's a very nice pick here. It's
Yeah.
not an offlaner in the truest sense of the word. You usually see him as a damage dealer, but because of the global ability and just being able to fly around, you can just move Blaze closer to the team and play that two tank playstyles that Hammer pretty much really wants. There, Leoric is gonna get a little bit caught out, uses the E. Will he get stunned? No, he will not. Actually, the Diablo gets through, but the
Ah,
Blaze does not. And
oh,
still is
nice
not
retire here from the bottom lane.
a kill. We do see Böppeltruppe finally trade one for themselves as Posted gets blown up. And
Right from connecting together with the uppercut, and I think Mad Morphia not sustain it.
those teamfights are
On his
getting
life.
pretty messy. At least this one did. In the end, he's still super and soft bros that are ahead.
And Trupier connecting onto Blaze. This time the bunker is up, combined with the silence beneath, silence carpet.
Buried alive at home. It's a classic.
Yeah, kinda, right? Level 10. Wait. 20. Actually, looking here, the previous fight, I was thinking about the Apoc might or has connected.
I think they might still be trying to fish for something because we do have Bottle Trooper going in to invade the enemy's bruiser camp. Both Posted and
Yeah.
Hammer are a little bit away from the team, and Corona is going to be wise, going to not use the Gust here, knowing that they can't really support the fight here, just giving away the camp.
Question is maybe Peruna actually attempting to soak the bottom lane? Get it? Although I think, yeah, automatically.
I think they would get a 13 either way, and sending Posted down might be a little bit too much of an issue, but we are definitely looking for that objective 16-3 so far for in terms of. And if you need to get 40, of course you get it from Cena stuff down. We do have the Johanna
Nice
getting
upper
blown up.
combo.
You don't
And
use that
once
often.
more. EFG following up right after. And Shohana.
At least
And
I
no
don't
place to live.
I don't get to see that often. Any day where a Johanna gets blown up is a very weird day to me.
The thing is, problem is the CC chain from Super Unstoppabros is kinda high. They could, in theory, combine like 45 seconds stun duration. Since there's only Super on the other side, providing no plans, I think he can do shoving targeted has the right bomb in time, but that is not always possible, right? Mr. Drones, whatever not.
Using their
Yeah,
big
there's
advantage, we do have Super Unstoppabros picking up the Arcane Punishers this time around, and this time around they actually stay for the fort. Of course, the objectives ramp up throughout the game, so
yeah.
nice
Seeing a very good zoning here by Dami, together with
there's
Varus.
going to be a reply from Kira. Kira actually gets interrupted before he can blow up the ultimate. That's not.
Was that an interrupt actually, or was just the retire dying by damage? I couldn't see it.
Could be either. Either way, we do have Leoric losing a lot of HP. The Light Bomb connects on top of the Kalphas, but there's not enough follow-up, and the Buried Alive will make sure that a trait is used by the Anduin as Dami's not feeling too great inside of that kill. Oh no, was correct. Either way,
Oh, that's an upper here onto Stukov.
Oh lord,
Wow.
Stukov, why did you stand against that wall? Another pick by the Unstoppabros. Seems quite unstoppable. Harden's opponent.
Actually, very surprised there that the range was enough to connect Stukov there. But the execution time, and once more, Dami is not stopping here. He's actually going for the unstoppable timing.
Diablo found the
Keep
ball,
using his Qs.
and where
On the
there's a
max
ball,
range
there's a
and
will,
balancing them. Yeah, yeah.
and where there's a
I'm
will,
very
there's a way.
amazed here.
So
Already collecting 3 stacks so far. Still
16
done.
to 14, which that talent lead and that level lead, more importantly, is actually getting quite crushing. I feel like for Böppeltruppe, there's not really much he can do for the next few minutes. As you're just moving around, maybe trying to think about what's going wrong in those fights and just soak up the talent because you really need that 16 to get those fights back. Even Leoric is going to get a little bit of a trade in the off lane. He can step out a little bit further than the rest of the members because
Yeah, and now there's also a counter attack.
ooh, the stun misses.
Enemy gain
Done.
rotation here. Super Unstoppabros
Does
is
not get
going
a stun
in.
just yet, but that E gets cancelled a little bit earlier than the Leoric would want
EF3
to.
missing, but I don't think Eric can sustain this up here.
There's an
Let's shield.
the silence on top of the
Connecting here onto
Ender.
Anduin
Yours
and Hammer
shield.
together.
The
But
bunker
actually
is
the
down.
Hammer reaction was pretty well. And by the way, I think you were right before with the interrupt on. I think it was a pulsar cast. And that happened. Now when I think about it, on the mid lane. This time it interrupted it again. Actually, Junkrat has a very tough time overall here, getting his reply off.
The hammer is alone here. That might actually be a pretty nice play. The Leoric is respawned. We do have Frozen and Dami show up through the point,
But 16 tiers are not available yet here for the red team.
but the whole circus shows up for Böppeltruppe as they go in and steal the Bruce camp yet again. That's pretty much
Oh,
the
nice
only
stun here
advantage
from
they've
Necroverus.
gotten macro-wise. And there's an Entombment of the Blaze as well. A lot of damage put into Broadhamster in the response, but Hammer on top is the one who gets caught out. The silence will hit. And there's a tank down.
An actually interesting question here coming a few minutes earlier from Twitch chat here from Shintaro. Do you even pick Buried Alive versus Anduin if you already have Stukov? It's actually a good question when we pointed out that we have kind of, or you rather said it, Josh, Buried Alive 10. And I think heavily depends throughout the lyric build, I would say as well. Now we see how to take Eric, so he's like very focused on punishing Diablo and plays very high tanky treatment, like you can hit them.
Oh,
They could be the theory, right? To go for the Zack control.
I actually like
Great.
this by the Unstoppabros in the meantime. They are recognizing that they can't really fight 4v5 on the objective. So they just go and get macro plays. They go top, they pick up that fort. Pretty much trading out for the objective right here. Very nicely done by the team in blue. But yeah, you are correct. On one hand, if you have the silence anyway, is it even worth picking up the 1 second reduction on the duration on the Intune? But on the other hand, having that silence already built in, on one hand, it does reduce the amount of coordination needed. Not that I doubt that they don't have the coordination required. But on the other hand, it does allow the Stukov to just put the silence somewhere else and be even more annoying than anything. So I want to say it's really the dealer's choice here. So we'll see. And we'll also see if they even get below 20. So far, it has been looking pretty far.
If3 already being used. Now Lyric moving in from top side, knowing Blaze is not shown on the map.
And Blaze is not going to be there for a while. He does not have the globals, which does mean that Dami is a little bit stuck over that wall, thankfully. And
There we see the Entomb. But another pull being up now. Being Unwin should be out of pulls. Yeah.
And there's a Blaze now. Leoric gets stunned. There's a Gust from Peruna, but it's angled a little bit off. Johanna losing a lot of HPs there. We do have the Light Bomb used, and Bradcaster is now seemingly the target. The silence comes through. Samu gets going over the Diablo in a very bad position. Now the Apocalypse will hit a bunch of people there, but the fight splits. And on the other side, Peruna is trying to pick up a kill on the Johanna or the Junkrat, finding neither. And then the
Oh yeah, this team fight is very scattered. Lyric falls here from the Giant Killer. Emma. Very last auto take, but nothing out on previous thing inside the fight. And Chunk actually is a required to get rid of Chunk Falstad in that scenario. Finishing off very important team play. the second physical on, just to keep it safe. Many times you always think, yeah, healing, protecting is already meant by the frontliners, but also done vice versa. Fighting damage target.
On one
Very good.
hand, the retire is a 75-second cooldown, and the respawn timer for the Johanna is probably lower. But on the other hand, not having that Johanna on the field means that Super Unstoppabros can do much more, and more importantly, that they will do much more. There's not a lot of times that you see a team moving up 5v5, but once they have that numbers advantage, both teams recognize that the team with 5 people is ahead, so they will actually make a play. Where if it was a 5v5, they might have not done that, even if it is a pretty free play for them overall. That said,
Yeah.
level 20 hits for Super and Stop Pros, who are now gonna steal the siege camp of their opponents yet again. Böppeltruppe just trying to play as safe as possible, trying to find that level 20 before the next objective, and I think they will indeed. And well, moment of truth. Is buried alive actually as a pick here? Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So Daymat just try to, as you said, probably use the split focus. Maybe in this moment, Super, since he has a bit higher range due to the Ifangas, and on level 13, might be able to just only focus on Anduin, so he can never try to even go for the Leap of Faith, trying to save someone. And Derek, however, just focus on the primary and two target. Even now, Diablo can be very good.
Whoa,
And yeah,
this
Flash
hill,
Shield
but
once more getting touched by Murloc Rakete. I've done that the third time now.
and
There.
now that the hammer has both the percentage damage on attacks and the attack speed steroid on level 20, that's going to be a very,
Whoa!
very
That's a good
annoying target.
Entomb turn.
And that's also a silence on top of the Entomb just for the damage seemingly. But a Gust by Peruna and the Wind Tunnel will ensure the safety of the Blaze as we now go into the Shrine with Böppeltruppe actually having a position on top of it. But we do see that Unstoppabros got a little bit of early progress for themselves, and now Dami's trying to go in. Peruna is on the side, getting those Qs in, but not quite enough. There's the
Dropping
engage.
low, getting
There's
an
the damage.
And-
Johanna gets annihilated right there and then. There's the sounds from Samu, and a lot of damage is actually done to the Blaze.
Oh, wow.
You don't
Nice
have the
line of
bunker, and the Enduin comes through a little bit too late. Mucho's
Oh,
now
and
gonna
Rain,
get
also
trapped.
speaking of him. Oh, and now then
Ooh.
silence into silence. Samu loses his life here in return, however. But I think this is a really, really good cap. All the wave clear heroes or shrine heroes are still alive and using the NTF Armor's advantage. Wow.
Yes.
Double silence, I guess.
Yes, we've had a silence on the Entomb, but what about the second silence? And well, actually that's not even too bad because of the damage that Lurking Arm provides with the low blow on level 1. Definitely quite an amount of annoyance for Blaze, who can't click the bunker this entire time. Guys.
Actually, thinking about the macro call that could have been possible here, looking at the red team's current situation or position, could have maybe actually waited for Stuka to fully respawn at 9 the cap, since it was like 50 against the guys, I think. Now I have a full force push, because now when they advance into the keep, I know that Super Unstoppabros have the full roster in again, while Super is coming. So I think this could have been a macro decision, the heat of the moment, that would have maybe concluded. But now, yeah, at
An
least
interesting trade-off, right?
Trading
Because
off.
on one hand, you do get the Stukov to assist you, but on the other hand, you pretty much secure that the enemy team responds as well, and that the push will start with the enemy team already on top of it, rather than here.
Oh, that gust was sharp attempt to catch Johanna into the corner, but she was right in time to escape here. Junkrat's free body already being used.
The trade used by the Johanna, but we do see that Unstoppabros are not eager to move through with their threats, and now it seems like that the game has a little bit turned after that level 20.
Oh, Art Hamster is looking for an entomb here. They know, or they very likely know that Anduin still has those Super
And
W here.
the hammer is not here this entire time. Varus is not in a good position here, but gets an E over the silence to make sure that he stays alive. Hammer this entire time just picking up the stray soak and clearing out the camps in the mid lane, making sure that nothing touches that keep. However, Böppeltruppe are not gonna yield. They're not gonna give up the initiative that they've done with the fight. And first, on the flank,
Ooh,
tries to find the stun, but
nice
there's
trade here from Madmo.
an instant trade from the Johanna to interrupt those shots. The camp is up. Böppeltruppe have taken it the last 2 times, if not 3. And they're gonna try to fish for it yet again.
Ooh,
Dami
Junkrat.
scouted
Being
out, but
full engaged here, but gets
yeah,
out
all
while
damage.
Nani is in a very awkward situation.
And there's a stun.
Decides to
And
put
there's a stun.
on Anduin.
However, the Riptide gets killed before it gets blown up, and Rat Hamster is actually going to die to the bunker here, so the exchange not going in favor of Böppeltruppe.
Unfortunately, Junkrat was hard engaged beforehand. Diablo escaped himself, then the split happened. He engaged on the back line towards Super Unstoppabros, but due to the splitting, there was no kill getting gained, and later on, lost.
We touched on the
Diablo,
top.
on the other hand, looked actually very deep. I'm not sure if he used the blink. Yeah, that's something I initially didn't catch up.
He
Or
had to
did he
blink
get out
after
of
he
that?
got mined right into the middle of
Yeah, okay.
Böppeltruppe.
It's good to know.
We have touched on adaptation earlier, and I feel like it is important to bring up. Usually in Division 7, we do see the level 20 ult upgrade for the Junkrat. It's reduced cooldown, making sure that you can reset it by killing 3 people in a row. In Division 7, it's not as hard of a job as in Division 2, granted, but here, Hero recognizes that Zarita is just gonna get destroyed. It has been destroyed the
Yeah.
last 4 times it has been used before being blown up. So just going for a good old value upgrade with Cannonball. Also increasing that AoE on the shrine.
Phoenix being used on the shrine, but Hammer doesn't really care as much. He's killing the minions. Prime minions shot beforehand.
12 to 21, Böppeltruppe are actually ahead here, even if Unstoppabros have the position on the shrine itself. Red Hamster losing a lot of HP, lose that Giant Killer, lose that level 20 on the hammer.
Not the Falstad angle here is very scary.
23 to
Super
31,
realizes.
picking up the Riptide, comes through, hits 2, Dami losing a lot of HP there. There's the Light Bombs, there's the Apocalypse, a lot of damage is done, and the Wind God
Only one missing. Stukov is probably finishing those. Yeah.
on top, not letting them disengage. Rat Hamster is going to die, but those little advantages over time do stack up, and the KT Junkrat power duo, power triplet actually, the Lurking Arm can do quite a bit of a number on the objective as well. Secures the Arcane Punisher, which means that now it's Böppeltruppe pushing 4v5. Which could potentially backfire.
Connecting here, Blaze.
Massive stuff, getting the Diablo out of the fight. A lot of damage put into the ending. Actually, Muji's not feeling too great here for Luna, making sure that the firebomb does not get spread. And they finally get access to the keep. However, they are diving in deeper as the Yorick respawns, trying to fish for the kills, trying to fish for something that might just let them secure team number 1. The keep finally falls down, and now it's just a for them.
Mirrors engaging here onto Stukov, but the silence on Zoom delaying Diablo a bit going onto him.
Stukov finally falls down. There's going to be the
connecting
Riptide does connect. And
oh, the Punisher here being angry on the Falstad and actually getting it.
traded for the
taking
Junkrat,
revenge.
but Junkrat manages to secure the kill in place with the total mayhem. Diablo is going to die as well, and that's the 3-for-2 trade with Muji's Murloc Croquette and Dami, who has respawned thanks to the trade with Diablo, trying to defend.
And now it's all about, can they rush the core in
40%,
time?
20%,
I think
10%?
so.
Yes, it
Yeah, I
should be
think
enough.
that's
It will
the
be enough.
first game going over to who's the Böppeltruppe.
Well, if you stop the game midway through it and ask me what team will win, I would definitely not say Böppeltruppe. We did see Super Unstoppabros having actually quite a hold onto the game, but unfortunately, with those level 20 coming through and that AoE damage just stacking up, all the silences ensures that Böppeltruppe gets themselves a lead and gets themselves back into the game, securing it as well.
Even comparing with like the heal stats, for instance, that Andrein did like over 100k against the poke damage was still not enough actually
I
to
mean,
sustain against a lot of poke potential. Even when there's a lot of interrupts due to silence mechanisms, right? Sometimes you heal denied or whatever, it was still big value, I would say.
you have to point out that those healers are a little bit different in how they want to be played, right? Because Stukov is a healer that, yes, you can heal, you can put out the numbers, but what you're really looking for are those lurking arms, is that silence and the damage as well. He actually kind of doubles the damage of Anduin here. So a little bit of an asset to the team, helping out every which way.
Yeah, and especially with the CC chain, I was a little bit worried for the Stuka to end up put it through. Getting rather locked down, or maybe being even able to put your own CC on the enemy team, but have showed otherwise. And the silence placements
So
also got
with
some.
Bopple Trooper winning game number one, that means that Super Unstoppabros gets a choice of either picking the map or going first in the draft. I know that the choice has been made and they have chosen to go first pick, but what would you choose actually? That's a question that I ask every single podcaster I'm with, and the answers are always pretty interesting.
First pick or map pick in general should decide what. Is this the question? Yes, right?
Yes.
Okay. What I have seen lately in my cast is that the first certain team always decided for map picks and won with that decision. So kinda always every time they had a choice, they ignore first pick in general in higher division games. I it's really recommended for the first pick in order to get very strong in your turn, but we saw it also in the last map. Was picking the map, and Evros was first pick with place. Yet they lost. So I think just as the previous cast that I had, I think map pick is better. Just saying it openly now. Always go map pick. You win.
Well, we do have
Nice.
Bubbles Group actually taking the map here as Super Unstoppable Bros have chosen first pick. Might have been an issue, but we are gonna go to the Spider Queen for game number two. People are gonna slowly filter into the lobby. And yeah, Spider Queen. A lot smaller of a map. I think there's a lot less to do compared to Infernal Shrines with all of its camps. But it might actually be more interesting because the late game usually gets quite tense on this one.
Yeah, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Pretty standard map now, I'd say. Actually.
I think, to be fair, we have 10 maps in the rotation, 11 if you count the one maps that everyone likes but no one actually picks in the map vote. And like 8 of them are classics. So, but yeah, Doom's Spider Queen. Also, a lot more value is now being put into those single pickoffs, just making sure that the champs stay on the ground and they don't get picked up, which might benefit Unstoppable Bros with their pick heavy setup in game number one. So,
Yeah, also interesting to see if there are some more specific target banning coming out from the first map. It's pretty common that there might be at least one target ban from each team being kind of regarded. Oh, it might be this map, should be shouted for. Kinda, we were struggling against this very the first map or something. So we'll see if they are also the first maps and first events kind of swap around. That's what players will gonna tell us very soon.
I have a sinking suspicion that the hammer band number is about to go up for Unstoppable Bros. But we will we'll see, I guess. The other things that I've noticed is Böppeltruppe have 13 Genjis banned against them throughout the season, so that might also be another thing to look at. Genji, I think he's going to perform slightly better on Tomb compared to Strives.
Yeah, especially with the overload of Anduin enthusiasm over the time. It's like they have kind of good light saving defense tool out of wave danger, especially combining very agile heroes like so probably pretty likely to see that here maybe as well. Diablo, I would say, in comparison to like a Muradin or a Nook, makes it actually way harder to coordinate right setup. Since if you try to go for the Q, first of all, the Titan has effect, and then I would say disrupting a Diablo Q is always way easier to do it versus like somebody jump. It's very blind. So yeah, but looking at that though, last game, I think there were a lot of good synergies. I found into Diablo Aqua. Feeling.
Yeah, a lot of different things were coming through. The fights definitely got a little bit more messy than I would have expected, with the teams just trying to get their combos over, dodging, getting stuff done, and in the end, it was Justin Toombs that won it. Sounds like a normal Division 7 game to me, but in the end, it's Division 2 here. So just wait for the last few stragglers to find their way onto the lobby. We'll be moving on. So yeah, there's a lot of things to speak about. Honestly, I'm struggling to figure out topics there. We do have some who actually role swap into support, seemingly, which is very interesting to me. He did mention before game number one started in the lobby that he has been target banned throughout the season, or rather throughout the playoffs runs that he has had as a sub on it on the team. So swap into support is a very nice little choice. You don't get the Haka banned against you if you're not playing the Haka at all.
Looking on Samu here. But then he has to play everything else. But he's doing it.
On the other hand, look at me, role swapping from a player to a caster just because I'm not good enough to play in the finals. That's it. Teams, we do have Böppeltruppe encountering some issues.
You were in which team actually, Josh? That's what I forgot, sadly.
Hmm?
Which team have you been or are you?
I have been on the Burning Crusade. We have unfortunately lost for a quarterfinals this time around. But maybe the next time around it will be better. I will get further. Might actually just end up playing in the finals at some point. But yeah, the last person is going for the third attempt at joining the lobby. Those are always the most annoying parts of casting because nothing is really happening. You have to figure out things to talk about on the fly. You have probably noticed how bad of a job we have done with that so far.
Yeah. Here we can maybe talk
Oh no,
about
he got dropped again.
disconnects, yeah. What is thing up to date? Organisatory stuff.
I mean, a lot smaller of a map. So I'm going to expect a lot more team fights as well, which is going to be interesting considering how scrappy the team fights have looked in my opinion, in game number one. So maybe the teams will just go for a little bit more disciplined of an approach. Maybe they will try to pick out even easier combos to do. Might even see the variant showing up. How is the variant actually in the higher divisions? Because that is a hero that always has been a solid, iconic character for the lower side of launch, but up higher where he actually gets quite countered by a lot of things, and the taunt gets cleansed more often than not. I would
Speaking of
expect.
the ton, I've seen that lately though. It was Anna, Bing, and uh, Arian taunt combo. The kinda classic blow someone up. That
And
not
Johanna on
even
top of the variant, that sounds fair.
like,
But they finally found out where their last player has been hiding. The last player has finally managed to join the lobby, which means that we finally get to stop talking about whatever, really. Start talking about
whatever
sport.
really. Nice.
With the Lucio being immediately banned, we do see Super Unstoppabros not even bothering about waiting. They've done waiting. You wanna play?
And Koga and Lucio Ben here right at the start from Super Unstoppabros. Hitting kind of the ban pattern, opposing to what I've been thinking might be happening. And on the other side, though, we are engaging with Stripe ban. And there I'm at least, right? I am my ban. Which I was actually thinking one.
So
But
last time around, that hammer was a Hanzo, but besides that, the draft is exactly the same so far. I would expect a Junkrat and a Johanna to come out from the right.
we have your counter rising up here, 22 hammer bans for the protocol. Let's say.
22 is quite a number
Yeah,
to pick
you
up.
said 21, right? At the start of
Yes,
the
it is
releasing.
21 so far at the start of the series, but now it's 22. And there's a Johanna, but joined up by Vala this time around. So a little bit less OE, a little bit more single target damage. I would expect.
And another Android peak. Really, I would say. Up here by Moo Juice again. Oh, Moo Juice? Yeah, maybe it's Moo. I think it should be Moo. Just like the cow.
So what you're saying is that we're gonna call him Milk.
No, I just say always, every time I have to call his name out, I would say Moo. To make entire Twitch chat, you know, I can always not pronounce this. You know what I mean.
But so far, the draft from Super Unstoppable Bros has been the same as game one, but changing Hammer for Hansel because that one got banned. However, this time around, we do have a Diablo ban, which begs the question: will they go for a Nubarak?
Ooh, I mean, okay, Anuga on Super Unstoppabros. Yeah, this could be a viable option, I would say. With but it looks a bit struggling into the Vala and Johanna early pick. They can still decide another Stukov maybe, especially Anu. A lot of damage. Frontliner.
Well, Böppeltruppe will have to reveal two of their picks right here and then because that's how the draft works. A little bit more information for Dami and Lucas to figure out what's it. And Chan, I haven't seen that hero in years.
And Maiev. And what I see like this, I'm pretty confident that Samo will play the Maiev here and Kima is up for a Chen. Yet,
so I actually do not remember how Chan works or feels. I do remember the keg moving around and people spamming top keg. But I haven't seen Chen in so many years.
What do you think about the Chromie pick? I'm a bit scared about it working nicely, since there's a lot of like evade mechanics into the loop, and even the slowing sense do not really bother for many. They can just kind of jump away.
And the Ana to finish it out.
But maybe Lucas actually was preemptive thinking that since they've been scouting, especially as of yesterday in my chat, actually, in my cast, gotta say that one out loud here, and knowing that shot and I would see the last and we told that the legit counter against her, slowly putting her down, but also getting a tool loop against Anna's low cleanse, those kind of mechanics. Only the stun. And interestingly enough, you said about wave clear action and so on. Now we have barely any wave clear here on the offlaners. It's more like a brawl heavy duo on the bot lane. So I wanna see how this one goes because matchup wise, I'm not sure it's even. You can see maybe that Dami is actually adapting. Press forward, I think, the globe talent. So that's better 1v1, but struggles with the team focus.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a total slap scene in the offlane. But let's go to game number 2, where on the left for Super Unstoppabros, we do have Varus playing the Blaze, Moo Juice on the ending, Murloc Racket becomes a Hansel this time around, Lucas on Chromie, and Dami playing as
Oh, I should have announced the left team this time because I wanted to say the move. But we are going for boosted Böppeltruppe now. We have some plays on Maya. Netmorph, Johanna once more. Kira on Shin this time. Brad Hamster with Vala and Lost.
I know that you want to say cow noises. That's why.
Yeah. Next time you leave it to me.
That's why I'm trying to stop.
You're gonna have to.
That's a very early clue. Kira, of course, gonna drink the worries away, picking up a little bit of extra damage over time, but it's nothing to worry about, as the cat always provides relief. This is not an endorsement. Oh, Verse going in. That's a stun on top of the Kira. Chan going to jump over Verse. Makes this
by the way, I just realized it might be Imperious main tank rotation. They have place. I was not looking at that one.
No way in hell they're gonna have Blazons offlane. That would never happen. How dare they?
Yeah. It could have actually been a viable option because I think Imperious is not too shabby here in the lane matchup this time. I think he struggles more here against Anna and Johanna. Anna, Johanna, and Imperious.
And there we have already Lucas doing a little bit of poke on the Ana before rotating downward. That is a place that I've seen a lot of teams do with varying results. Chromie gonna move to the camp, gonna try and sneak it out, but we see Böppeltruppe realize that there's not enough people up top. And they just make a full invite rotation. Dami not feeling great, gonna get looped, no, sorry, not looped, bound by the Maiev. But Anduin is here to save him.
Yeah.
With Kira, Samu, Shadow all showing up in the bot lane.
There's also the 5-hand rotation now.
Just for the rest of the team show up, that's going to be a big fight. Kira losing a lot of HP, that's going to be a lot of damage over time for the Chan, but Böppeltruppe makes their escape. Don't lose anyone except for the camp. But that camp
It's pretty interesting enough. Netmore still covered up top lane, knowing it will be too late. Actually, Rara gets priority set on lanes. Very important decision making here. Also, looking then that Team Red completely abdicated bot camp, not to try to contest area numbers. But it's important to not gift away the leads.
Yeah.
Speaking of gifting, the Schlong on top, on Caleb. Didn't matter as much though.
A bunch of pretty nice decisions on the side of Böppeltruppe here. Stem the bleeding and get some extra experience in the side lanes, get some extra chance for them.
You see, by the way, on bot, slowly is confidently winning this one. Pressuring Blaze just by pure damage output. Also see the adaptation here that we have Deadly Strike. So it's very likely to see a kick as well. It's level 4.
You do.
And Maiev, in return, also having the Q stack section. What do you think about that into a normal triple ranged duo melee comp side?
The blue team, they do have two tanks that really want to go in, right? Those two tanks will likely get bunched up throughout the fight just on a regular basis. That's how they operate. They get close and personal to their enemies. It means that they will get close to each other. So not too bad of a decision, I want to say. Secure.
And it's only 2 hero sit. That's why I like the talent applies hitting three
Ooh.
heroes, but close that Valak got in time. This one.
The
He
follow-up
just got
from
the
Lucas
AP.
just
Yeah.
slightly too slow, but it happens. We do have
I'm
some
actually also
Shiva.
not sure if two Chromie W's would have killed Vala there. Might have been some 1 HP angle,
But there's
but there's
another
another
kill.
time, another chance. But we jinxed it.
An
We
instant
jinxed it.
silence from Shuttles are a very nice heads-up play to secure it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
speaking
something we have to note out, right? The Enna factor into the Imperius is really, really hard. Like, even if you
and
hit the Q first, you can instantly get counter engaged later.
Kira kind of bullying verse in the offlane comes through, gets the turning, gets the first wave going down the lane of Böppeltruppe. Usually you go for the middle wave or for the middle lane or the top lane on the first wave where we do go.
Um, Actually, so far, looks like we are pushing a bit top. Samo, since he gets priority here on mid lane, he can actually think about going bot right now, especially once Ace engaged here. You are maybe noting out that Blaze is dropping half knife. We also know that Jen has to have still, whereas Blaze doesn't have it anymore, so this is life. It's liquid. Meanwhile, on top lane, we have the 4 versus 3 in favor of Team Red. Since Chromie decided to go bottom, go with a loop action here, but I'm pretty sure that Kira is completely chilling, just running away, ranking up again.
I mean,
Oh, Boris back. Oh, in the mid lane.
you want to,
Oh,
and the root connects as well. Brett Hamster falling to double-digit HP, but Shadow will be there to provide a clutch. Sure that the Vala gets out. Mad Morph actually feeling a bit too low
yeah.
and feeling a bit quite dead here.
Really good stun here by Blaze, and then
On
afterwards the follow-up from Imperius.
the Vala. Brett Hamster has been chunked down. I think that's the third time I've seen him keep the Q from the interior, so not feeling great so far.
Nami has a very good aim on him.
But yeah, Chan is a hero that can provide quite an amount of damage in a 1v1 scenario and can dive literally anywhere and everywhere. I've seen Chen dive keeps, I've seen Chen dive force, get out of course. Very nasty hero. Thankfully, Blaze has enough health to stay relatively safe amidst all of this bullying. But this time around, it's actually the Unstoppabros who will pick up a wave in return now, going for the mid wave as their biggest push, but Kenzo stayed in the top lane a little bit. There's an arrow, it's gonna connect on 3, but there's not enough follow-up unless you want to go over the wall, which
No, there's a
Nami
follow-up.
will go for. Vala gets blown up, the light bomb will ensure the Johanna's demise as well, and Rasmussen here is on the Maiev as well. 3 people dead out of pretty much nowhere here, as Böppeltruppe are suffering yet another fake early game.
Halving here. They know that this was their last big push. Rakete tries to siege down top a little bit, but I do not think it's entire fort call here. Sleep was almost sitting with the Wanda flank, very deadly now, but
It could be, which is why Chen is here to provide some assistance to secure that the fort stays alive. Trading a little bit of damage on the bottom fort. Of course, there's no plays that you can do here without any trade-offs, because the teams are just so good. But now moving towards Bruce for the siege camp, scouting it out, finding out that there's no one here, as Super and Bros are actually gonna insta-turn in the second wave and get the wave set up even more in their favor. Verse misses the stun here. Kira gonna get looped. There's the keg to interrupt the loops. The keg is top as always. Blaze
being inside. Needs to use bunker here. Oh, Andrew in. It's pulled.
Ooh, and the light bomb on top of the arrow as a response. Maiev gets blown up, even though she was the one looking for something. Oh boy.
That was well done by Mood Juice. How are you? Hello.
Count one.
It's pretty necessary that, you know, have to stick that on a group. But plays very close, but reaction wasn't there.
Pretty fascinating sequence of plays altogether, honestly. The top keg to save Chan from the loop, forcibly moving Blaze into Africa, forcing Enduin to step up to get the trade. But that always allows Maiev to go in on the Enduin. just a chain of events that has proceeded. Dami gonna get pulled in, Kira getting looped around yet again, which means another Keg is forced out. Dami now being
But Gate
forced to
looks
be
really
pushed
good onto Imperius here.
along the wall, while Samu is losing a lot of health here. As does the wall. The wall is actually done. The wall in the mid lane too. And Böppeltruppe once again look like looks like they are crushing. However, Böppeltruppe have managed to turn the last game around after level 20, so maybe they're just trying to hold on for as long as possible.
Running is only available right now for boosted. In the meantime, however, Super Unstoppabros with their talent lead will just set up lanes favor for right now.
Here
Yes.
again, 42 gems in this wave will not do too much because of just how the waves are set up. They're all on the side of
Yeah.
Böppeltruppe, not allowing them to really push out. But it does get the lanes in an equal position and does allow Böppeltruppe to actually play the game for a little bit. I'm looking
Big
through
issue is
those.
that top lane is pretty hard. Takes a long way to actually come close for Team Red to their structures. That's where the game timing is always important to where your waves are set. Now we see gathering and mid.
Ooh, that's going to be a trap on two by Lucas. Very interesting play to look. Sorry to trap
Hitting 30
yourself,
armor.
I guess.
Oh,
And there's
there's
an engage. The Keg is top as always. Smooth Juice is going to light bomb himself. The cage.
nice
and
arrow here from
Franz
top side.
Arrow on
Ah, the
top.
stun cleanse.
Brad
Stun
Hamster
cleanse,
losing a
very
lot
good
of
play.
health. The Eye of Horus is forced out to try and keep Zemaev alive, but both Zemaev and Zavala are dead, and Böppeltruppe now don't have the damage. Hero will kill himself, as a matter of fact, because that's how the E on the Chen works, and that's what alcohol does to you. I've actually been looking through those talents. That Eye of Horus is an interesting option. I don't see that. If I see a Nana, which is already once in a blue moon, I usually see that Nana boost for the synergies. Your Eye of Horus is.
Yeah, that's what I kind of wanted to note at level 11. Then the party was going on bot lane. Although, sadly, she was way too close, trying to stun fence and see beforehand. So she couldn't really get a. It's for sure a wise choice. There could only be a nano boost to be very high up, I guess. Looking at the Q-build angle though, in legit option, providing the cage scenario to be more threatening. Yeah, so far.
I kept an eye on Brad Hamster's stacks. I think last time I checked 5 minutes ago, he had 50 stacks, and now he has 54. So that Valley is definitely not having all of that engagement. All of that setup first is gonna forcibly get moved into active by the Keg.
Oh, the arrow, nice touch
here. The
here.
arrow misses. That might actually be a chance for Böppeltruppe. Samu goes in. That's a cage. Lucas gonna get pulled in. A light bomb on a lot of people, but
once more, nice stun cleanse here from Anna. This time the Horus range looks
as
good.
well. Varus is starting
Chen
to fall
and
down.
Vala are chasing them down. It's like moment 5 at least.
The Anduin is going to die as well. Dami
22 gems here.
Is getting bound in, and that's a lot of kills and also a lot of gems.
Yeah.
Hanzo will get out. Hanzo will
what do you
not
think
get
they can
out.
do with this now?
I forgot that they're
Aside from
playing
top
against a
bot.
Chen who can dive literally anything, everything, and everywhere at once. That's not the reference I wanted to make, but whatever. They go pick up a top fort, making sure that the boss eventually will be even better for themselves, and are starting to switch the game. I'm not sure if I would have done that. I would have just gone from the bottom fort to mid fort.
Yeah, actually, I kind of agree with you. During the 17-16 phase, getting that as open as possible is a very good choice. So it plays around more passive XP, more the angles to kinda get a better wave push as well on top of it on each lane. Last but not least, having a good angle to gank enemies. However, now Varus in return to like Hydra on the bot lane. It's no real struggle to just rotate up and get away from it.
I think that's actually pretty indicative of Böppeltruppe's plan for this game. I think they're done playing honest. They are just gonna try and win a fight and then finish the game in one fell swoop with the boss through the top lane. Because
Yeah, but
if
it's still an entire keep alive, right? So I don't know if
yes,
below or
but
before level 20 that's a GG for.
they've already killed the wall, which does mean that the boss will have a lot of support on its side because usually you can't dive past the wall unless you're Chen. But here the wall is gone, allowing Böppeltruppe some entrance options on that potential top cliff. That said, they will get a turning. They will get to get those forts down. However, the bot wave is not looking very great for them. But the main push is mid. Fort is slowly but surely starting to lose HP. Samuel is on a flank, but even further on a flank is Paris. So far on the flank is actually in the top lane. And well, actually surely has to start cleaning up at some point because otherwise Böppeltruppe will just get the keep. And I'm not sure if you really want to allow that. The loop up,
Yeah,
the loop
actually
upgrade on
bottom
Thorn
four doesn't even die as well.
for Lucas as well, making sure that the cleanse options are thoroughly got
Oh,
out.
arrow after
Oh,
the blaze stun connects. Here, Beerus tried to assassinate from bottom, but range wise wasn't enough.
I
So he ended
respect it.
up.
Unfortunately, did
Yeah.
not quite work out. The blast shield misses. That's actually pretty important. So both sides are using their engage tools
Wait.
for
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay,
Latif's
Santi
Furious
peepling
out,
here.
and the top keg is here. Brad
Interesting.
Hamster losing all of HP, but Murloc Raquette is going to be the kill here. Hanzo
Yeah,
dies
nice kick
immediately.
here from Kira.
The
Getting him out of
cage
position.
does not allow Chromie to move out, and there's a kill on the end, and Chromie is gonna time out, but that only delays the inevitable as Chromie is dead, Blaze is dead, and now Böppeltruppe are just gonna skip the second
I
game out
think.
in the late
Oh,
game
there's
as
another
well.
DP from Demi.
A Q on two people, he's trying his hardest,
shield.
but, well, there's only so much you can do 1v5.
And I think you have your full footstep. Rush with one moment, you know? With one step. Well, you mentioned it 2 minutes ago or something.
There's
And it turns out the way, but it was mid lane. Only thing you miscalculated.
if I'm super
It's almost
Unstoppabros,
perfect.
if I'm super Unstoppabros, I'm not sure what I want to do for map number 3. Because so far, we have seen 2 maps where Böppeltruppe are just winning in the late game,
Yeah.
despite you stomping
Taking.
early game as hard as possible. So
I would
something
also say they kinda counter engaged, something I also had to mention to them yesterday when they even forced me to do an interview. Yes, the players forced me to do that. Like Shuttle and Kira, for instance. And what I've seen here once more is that they use the enemy missed spells against them, kinda, and turn around the fight. Later stages, but in previous early fights, they try to do that and it kinda goes wrong, and they get punished by the enemy. In this case, Super Unstoppabros. Something I've noticed, yeah. Like they usually Team Blue is controlling vast majority of the game and then it's flipped.
So how would you approach it? How would you approach it if you are the Unstoppabros? You have 2 games where you have completely stomped through the early games. They have been 6-0 in both of those. But
I think
after those late levels, you just keep on falling through and dying to a 1 team fight, to 2 team fights.
I think maybe something that is less fragile of getting trapped with displacement or getting trapped on a certain spot like Hammer, Pulsar, and so on. They very like squishy in it, right? Also, the Chromie lands from the kick position. These are like spells that can throughout the game at least have one lucky strike or maybe calculated strike away, and then you're all of a sudden completely disrupted. Like when the unit breaks up, they have like a very strong 5-man composition that plays together when they are bound together from Super Unstoppabros Bros. But if this unit lost one time, they kind of fall apart. They need together something that kind of goes against this rule. So maybe something that is not as strong early game. It's a good late game independent bond, like mobility heroes maybe. A Genji can just escape, or Sylvanas, right? Instead of like a Hammer that need to stick on the team, especially Anduin. Can save others, but he cannot save himself, right? Strategy
Yeah.
playing is the wise kind of. So yeah. It was
Ironic,
thousands.
isn't it?
Yeah, it was very nice. Okay,
But
now we are
so
looking and the third map though. Cider's already that Super Stop was the first big one for.
mhm.
I
Which
told you
is
guys,
not a
map
choice that I
picking.
like.
Yeah, yeah. I'm saying it like the map picks. I mean, Division 2 impresses me this season for sure. Like, there were a lot of teams that just had this map pick ideal, and every time I was like either watching games from Heroes Launch or from their
Mhm.
POVs or just casting them myself, I always saw these teams that preferred map pick because they had to use map pick or just wanted it themselves. Turned out having their favorite map win.
So the way I've always looked at the first pick versus map pick scenario is if you have a strategy in mind, you go for map pick. If you do not have a strategy in mind, you go for the first pick. And honestly, I think that once you are 0-2 down and 0-2 down in a very tilted manner, honestly, I probably would have been tilted if I had lost 2 games like that in a row in the finals of being casted. Um, I think you
Depends
just
which kind of tilted you mean. More like angry on yourself, on generally, oh, we are losing against this, the enemies are there, or something like that? Or
Uh,
what kind of tilted do
yeah,
you mean?
just kind of upset. And usually, when I'm upset at myself, I get to disintegrate completely. So I think for game number 3, I definitely would have gone for a map pick, would have picked the most comfortable map, and would have tried to force
Mhm.
through the most comfortable strategies that you have. So we do see Super Unstoppabros going for the first pick, however, trying to stay tough and trying to secure that Blaze, I guess. I'm not necessarily sure that. Well, Blaze is a very good hero, right? But in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't seem like he has done enough.
Yeah, actually, on this map, it's maybe also a lot on Hogger about that the hacker, those heroes, a similar priority level as Blaze. Blaze has a full consistency about kind of every map, you could say. Here, he might get a little bit underperformed compared to other tiers. Looking at the Dehaka band so far, there was really none. Now, since we saw there was an offlane adaptation here from Kira, Mai and Shuttle played support, we might see that Samus actually got a Dehaka flexibility this map. And opposing to that, let's see if the Toga actually gets through this time. Was it Unstoppabros if they don't wanna ban it this time and actually it's maybe something where you also go out of the comfort zone, but being O2 behind sometimes goes for, unconventional strategies. I consider. Taking them instead.
Just Hollow is very much a map for some unconventional strategies with how big it seems to be and how macro oriented it seems to be. Also, the bosses are definitely a big talking point for the teams to try to look through for the.
I have a quick bio break for me. I'll be back in like 1, 2 minutes.
That is not a thing you say on the official stream.
Oh,
That is a point where I just get to talk about a lot of very different and interesting shenanigans that I have seen over the years in Quest Hollow. I think my favorite one was from Ravenclaw, I think, is the team in Division 7, where after picking up the curse, they just straight up 5-man lemming rush the keep in whichever lanes they wanted to go for, forcing pretty much the response out of their opponent. Because if there is no response, your keep is down like 10 minutes into the game, which is actually very scary. On the other hand, if you do respond, your ports in the other in all lanes actually are just gonna fall down to the minion waves themselves. So a little bit of a Morton's fork being set up. And they've done it well for the 3 or 4 games that they've got throughout the season. Unfortunately, they have disbanded afterwards. I'm not sure what exactly happened in the team, but I'm not the one to talk about. But yeah, so far, oh boy, Böppeltruppe just winning those late game fights, and I guess that's also a little bit indicative. Maybe I would
and
want. the Unstoppabros to actually start playing up some macro potentially because they just don't seem to win those late game fights somehow. It's wild. So all 10 players seem to be in the lobby. I think all the broadcasting personnel seems to be here as well, which means start readying up. And we can get into potentially the last game for today. Um, as Böppeltruppe in a rather uncharacteristic manner for themselves as far as this cup goes, are gonna look to win 3-0. They usually win in those game 5 scenarios, but this time around they are 2-0 up.
Yeah, let's see. Curve Solo also a map that can always turn around later on in the stages. And as I said, the priorities on the drafts being maybe set a little bit more into like safety late game saving. Here, the right call here this time for the disadvantages on levels.
Hmm. On the other hand, I'm very glad that Super Unstoppabros are losing because it proves completely and definitively that portrait synergy is not a thing. So you can stop trying to force me to change my portrait every single time I'm subbing. So that's good. Um,
Oh, sad.
portrait synergy is a relic of the past. It does not belong, at least in Division 2, at least so
I
far.
remember I had a Murloc at Portrait Synergy back in the days. My first real team. Was never a Heroes launch though. Back in the
Mhm.
days, I just real French friends. We were called Murloc Maniacs. And we had this one. But we were always swapping the Murlocs. You know, one had the Pachimari Murloc and the normal Murloc, level 9 Merc. There was actually only one guy from us that had Merc at level 9 or level 50. So
Nice.
that was also. Because back then you had different level XP system, right?
Mhm.
Changed over time. You had to get level 50 or something now these days. Yeah. I never got the Murky back then. I
I
had to go
actually
for
have
the
a level
Pachimari.
16 Merc now.
Ui. Octo Gamer or March Gamer?
Octo.
Octo
Murky is a
Gamer, okay.
weird character to me because it seems like every time he got reworked, which because I'm an old ass guy and have been playing since beta is quite a bunch of times. Every time he seems to be worse and worse for my playstyle. Uh, Mostly because I'm not good enough to play heroes that actually require hands, but that said, this team seems to be finally ready. So that does mean that we should fund off our draft for map number 3, Cursed Hollow. In just a moment. The team, of course, banning out first because they have the first pick. I'm going to predict a Lucio ban, a Thrall ban, and a Hogger ban in that order. Probably a Hammer on top if we're feeling frisky.
Actually, yeah, there's the Hogger Ben. I thought maybe you wanna focus it on themselves, this map specifically.
Oh, it's weird.
Yeah,
I'm
Navasral Ben.
usually a big proponent of draft adaptation throughout the there's uh, throughout the draft, but it seems like the higher we go, the less likely adaptation is because teams just come in prepared and they know what to ban already. And we
That's a
have the
curious
Lucio
preparation here.
picked
Yeah,
up immediately because he wasn't banned.
Luna
So
was taking it.
Lucio is it a better option or a worse option compared to Enduin? Because I have my opinions, but I would like to hear yours.
I mean, Lucio gives up a lot of rotational, um, yeah, rotational troublesome to the like the enemy team, and also looking at high five potential. I think a lot of African scenario and displacements to enemy team. He has some space. Without the Anduin target ban, for instance, or like nullifying out Anduin's potential with the life
Mhm.
bomb, it's very crucial to have. And this could be, fascinating aspect, especially looking that also boosted Böppeltruppe has a Lucio niche to go into. So yeah, let's see. Last time I've seen the Lucio first pick, it turned out very great for the very team. But it gotten more rare actually over time.
To
Do
finish
some
out the first half of the draft, we do have Johanna Foster picked up on the right, so getting that little bit of macro and that rock in the Johanna. On the left, we do have the Blaze and the Hanzo, so nothing too strange, nothing too weird from Super and Super Bros so far. I my angle on the Lucio is that it's a hero that can cleanse, but unlike Anduin, who has two trade chargers after 16 and then just doesn't have them for a while, Lucio's high five has a little bit of a lower cooldown, which might be very much more useful. And new
you
rail comes out. Speaking of low cooldown cleanses.
oh, we have a triple melee comp here together with mobility, range assassin from Hans and Lucio into a Enna Ming. So far pretty favored, I would say, for blue. But always never expect or have awareness of a potential one shot angle here, coming up with a rising sleep, the Enna, into a Liming combo.
And the
Should not be
Malthael as
underestimated.
well.
And the Malphite, wow.
They
Ah,
are going full on nano boost synergy here with the Limings, the Malthael. Oh boy, going to be spooky. And also, just a nice little bit of macro with Falstad with the Mal. If I recall correctly, Malthael can take jungle camps very early, which does also help with just applying pressure on the map as wildly as possible. It's pretty useful. I think there might be a little bit of an issue on the blue side with that.
yes,
Clearing waves
indeed.
out.
Get you.
As there's a voice in our hands that's saying things, I think we should ignore it and move into game number 3, where Super Unstoppabros are up against the wall. They have to start winning, and they have to start winning now. We do have Peruna playing as Lucio, Lucas on the Blaze, Burst on the Irel, Merle Racket on the Hanzo, and Dummy playing the
Then on boosted Böppeltruppe, we have Shuttle on Anna with a pretty egoistic mount. I don't know. I spice it a little. Then we have Zabu plays with Malphite, Netpop, Johanna once more. Hero on Falsa, last one on his platforms now.
What do you mean?
Game 3 in.
That mount is great. I
Yeah,
run
but
it.
the way it works though. So narcissistic in a way. It's really high ego.
Ooh,
Oh,
and a very early kill.
I'm
There's
seeing
going to be a
high
kill on
ego
Zelenin.
here
Nice try,
from
nice
Davi.
try. Well, the Fiesta starts very early, and I'm very much up for it. Böppeltruppe just, yeah,
We are just
found a
looking
way
at
to lose
last
the
game
early
and this
game
game.
immediately. Like, they're
I
not
always
wasting
feel
time.
like Dami has some kind of, these how do you call these kind of things you can set on someone and it's navigating you to this person.
I know. That said,
Like usually in science fiction games and science fiction things and so on. Like, yeah, I has like some kind of autopilot.
fair
Furious
enough.
autopilot hamster, like voila, no, living.
And
It's always
after
like
that initial pick, look at Dummy just waiting. He spent like a
yeah.
minute in that bush just waiting for Samu to get in a bad position. And well, it seems like it won't work, unfortunately
Yeah.
for him. But
Samuel unfortunately has checked minions in order to escape this way.
it's not like
Very
they have
important.
been wasting any time. They have a person in each of the 3 lanes, and they've also have a Hanzo starting to clear out the siege camp nice and early. Because they do have the first uh, first tribute spawning in the top lane. They don't need to delay this camp. for it to provide value. They would rather much get it nice and early before the enemy team is here.
And thanks to Malphite surviving, they could also engage early on the hard game. This is-
I think I
um,
know why Brad Hamster has chosen to die level 1. The quicker Böppeltruppe get behind, the quicker they get to a position where they just sweep the game out of reach from Super Unstoppabros. So it's kind of a fall behind to fall ahead scenario here. The camp from Böppeltruppe is going to hit the wall, which on one side means that the wall takes a lot of damage. On the other side, it does mean that the camp gets cleared out a little bit faster, which does allow Super
yeah.
Unstoppabros to get some push in their favor. You'll have Brad Hamster and Shuttle working on that camp just in time for the objectives to spawn on up top. For people in the class that have skipped that lesson, which I think that's exactly no one of you. You take that camp, you take it as late as possible, I think, before you go for the tribute, just making sure that the enemy offlaner is easy defending it and making sure you are 5v4 on the first objective. Here, however, Böppeltruppe, take it nice and early. Actually, a little bit too early and a little bit not enough nice here, as they seemingly give position to Lucas. He's gonna get interrupted there, so not a lot lost. But
This is all about, I would say, still Malphite surviving as long as possible, while still being healthy on the mana. But
and the other important
teaming
thing
alone is
is
very struggle.
he's also having the fly, so he is already here trying to help. There's the start on Tommy. That'll slowly moving toward that tribute, but Samu's gonna eat a Q, gonna eat a death. Tommy gonna get traded for it. So 1-for-1. Irel finally finds her way onto the objective. Now she gets his one interrupted. There's going to be a stun on the
Lucia
Solstice.
next to
Fearless no longer
Lucas. Yeah.
but so does Lucas. And Kira
Oh,
actually
very close for Peruna. Peruna got scammed.
gets to walk out on 40 HP here, gets to back, and probably gets to fly back in, I would imagine. Both damage dealers are back up as Maltel and Imperius, and both are stunned to roll upward yet again as the Fiesta fight continues on. There's going to be a little bit of an interrupt from Edmond. And we are back to status quo, pretty much. Alstad is gonna use his position as a global to pick up the wave mid, making sure that Böppeltruppe are getting as close to level 20 as possible. There's going to be a Q on the Johanna. Not the best target if you ask me, but it is a target after all, so who am I to judge? Kira is already nearby. We do have a raise road from the
Playing
lane.
from Kira, scouted out right now. He tries to get close, but connect the stun.
This is
However, Lucio together
still
did
the
some good
first
damage
preview.
here on Falstaff. That takes the escape here, Enna.
And
Malphite
means that's a lot of damage put onto Dami, but not enough willpower yet, especially against Lucio as he hits a Q and eats a death. Rathammer trying to pick up a kill, but well, there is a kill, it's just not the one being wanted. And with all of that said and done, Böppeltruppe lose another 2, another 3 as Shuttle gets got out and Murloc Raket finally picks up tribute number 1. That was like what? 2.5 minutes of solid fighting?
Yeah, kinda. Because usually at 3 minutes the tribute is there. And ever since then, I think the teams were moving up.
Look at this, Lucio already in the bot lane. Up so global pressure very much coming through. Or not the global pressure, but rather the global soaking capabilities, allowing them to get the level 10 a little bit earlier with those skills that they have. No 6-0 this game, but a 5-1 is a very nice start.
Interestingly enough, while I look personally right now onto the XP soak, Lucio has similar soak levels actually as Malphite. Here you can see that he is always trying to push these waves that are crashing towers. See right now on the bot lane. Very
And we were
important, he
talking
would
about the
probably
bosses. Böppeltruppe not even gonna go for the objective at all. They're just on the boss immediately. Maltel has a lot of clear on those camps, and they're definitely putting it to good use here. We do have less strides. We do have the nano boost this game, so nice little extra burst of damage to assist in killing out everyone. There's going to be the boss. We do have Super Unstoppabros stun the boss of their own, but I think they're slightly late because the fight is surely imminent. And with
Yeah.
Falstad on the
Good
side
scouting.
of Böppeltruppe, that might be a little bit shaky for them. We'll see. Warlock Raket still trying to get that little extra bit of health. Kira going in,
Oh!
misses
Alter.
the gust, misses the gust. He doesn't get it, and there's the boss for Super Unstoppabros. The stun will not connect,
Ah,
but
that's
it
just a
will.
standoff!
Blaze
Wow!
is dead,
Did you
Imperius
see
is
what
dead,
Panzer
Lucio
did?
is dead. No, I was focusing on the boss. And, well, I mean, they did get the boss.
Yeah,
That's
Panzer
good.
was inside the boss circle and actually dodged it at the like fast edge. Like into a corner.
Yeah, that
And the
was
boss stun
pretty
didn't
nice.
connect.
The fight did manage to split up in a very interesting way, where there were a bunch of people fighting over to the top part of that fight, while Falstaff is just trying to survive on the boss circle, which unfortunately he did not get. But fortunately enough, the rest of the team has picked up a few very important kills, allowing them to get a pretty simple defense and get them back into the XP lead. Apparently, the die level 1 strategy is actually working out a lot better for them than it would otherwise, because level 12 and they are already winning fights, usually it takes until level 16 or even 20.
Take a little bit of pressure on the red team.
Kira is gonna get looked at by the losers. There's going to be a Q, but Tommy already looks out. There's a
Ooh,
slick
close
dart,
sleep here from
unfortunately.
Shadow. Oh, barely missing.
That would probably have been a kill, but unfortunately
Yep.
enough, Lucio is a little bit
Since
too fast for this.
and I rotated down. Could have been a bit shit.
Do have Brand Hamster up there now, as the tribute is spawning up top. It's on the side of Super Unstoppabros, but Böppeltruppe kinda have to go for it because there are two already. Dami in the spot again and finds another Q on the Broad Hamster. However, this time around there is a Blast Shield to stop any funky business.
Yep. Very good prediction here from Madmoth. That could have led into potential arrow play right after. This time, the aggression is on Johanna though.
Murloc Raket is gonna start having the objective, but there is a also being trumpet. Samu gonna get stunned. There's a lot of damage to put in, but he gets healed, and Lucas on the other hand will not get as
Ano
lucky.
here onto Samu.
Samu
Ah,
finally falls
Samu
down.
pretty
There's
low.
just getting everyone nice and personal. Red Hamster losing some, but not enough to die just yet. Terrell is off as she's trying to find Shadow. Will get a nice little stun on the Ana. Will the Ana actually die? Yes, indeed. Red Hamster looking to jump over that wall to get himself out. And it seems like Super Unstoppabros actually wants that one. And they get themselves a nice little first for the Troubles Kira dashing over the wall, but it won't help you. As that port does not attack anyone.
Yeah, right near of that. Try to chase, but too slow to grab the chicken.
And they're actually just gonna keep on diving top. There's a mean death, right? But they will not go for the strategy I mentioned while people were taking breaks, like the weak-minded bodies that they are, of just going for the keep. You just send
So
5
what
people.
I mentioned about it's the unit that's more independent of one another and can have their own escapes. That's what we actually see here from some others. I haven't mentioned that in draft, but each of them have their own mobility. Saves
4
the
people trying to kill the Blaze. The Blaze is trying to walk out, but
play around the
right.
Blaze here falls after using the bunker.
And
Lone
that's actually
against 3.
2 stacks for Malfell already. Every single stack reduces the cooldown by 5 seconds. I think once you get a stack, 20 seconds cooldown, which is pretty nice to have. Doesn't
20?
change.
Don't know.
Yeah, apparently it got nerfed because I remember it being 15, and that was glorious.
Okay, yeah. I also remember it like this. That's why.
Honestly, the stacks are actually coming through as well. We do have 60 amount of falls, but gonna do quite a bit of damage later on with those skills. Actually, a lot of spell damage from the side of Böppeltruppe this game. The Mings, Malphite, and the That's it. Unstoppabros trying to look for something. There's a stun on the Falstad, there's a Q on the Falstad, but it's gonna get a little bit scuffed and the Falstad gets to go out. However, Rastos on here says no. There's a stun from the Hanzo. It will not find the Falstad. It will just get cast everyone away. And now we are having an equal fight pretty much. But with all of
Oh,
the ult cooldowns
mentioned
already
Blessing
blown
here
up,
connecting on Murdoch Rakete.
that's going to be a kill. Samu plays not feeling too healthy here as the bunker is finally destroyed. Samu trying to get out will not be able to do so. That's going to be a second. No, actually, the first kill for Super
Sure.
Unstoppabros as teams choose to disengage. Very heated. That's it. Bosses are up, which means that the bosses must go down. The Malthael is not alive, but that doesn't mean that the boss should be. First, however, scouting it already. Peruna, Dami, all here, forcing Bubble back. Is that the boss? No, Super and Super Bros are trying to claim it for themselves. Enzo is going to be on earlier than the Malthael, but the Malthael gets to move there faster. Because it's just closer.
I think
The
both
boss,
teams are very scared about this boss fight.
but the boss is still not leashed. That's the important part. Like, both sides are scared about actually forcing the exchange, but neither side wants to let go. And there's going to be a stun on the Kira. However, there's no follow-up or not enough of it. Imperius gets stunned by the boss, Johanna.
Arrow connecting here onto Shuttle.
There's going to be a kill. There's going to be an Anhyrus and Kira
Very important Gast.
secures it with a Gast, yeah.
And Irel also falls here on the bot side, since Samu
And
was
there's skill on
all
the
of a sudden
Hanzo.
left alone. Yeah, turned out well for them, but I think if this was the opposing situation, this might have been GG actually.
Oh
Looking at
yeah,
the state
going
of
right into the seat and into the core.
the great kill here on top. Funny.
Oh, Blaze,
Blaze
Blaze,
is
Blaze,
killing.
Blaze, Blaze. Why do you
Yeah.
have to die? And now Böppeltruppe
Stepping on the grass.
are ahead in kills, are ahead in XP, and that level 20 death line for Super Unstoppabros is just creeping up, and it might actually be very scary considering that the only person alive has been Lucio for quite a while and he's stuck 2 lanes away from that wall. Is definitely dead. How's it gonna be the first hit? Probably not, but it might be. Or ooh, Dami gonna blink in and go for the Ming. The Ming is gonna get stunned by the Hanzo, but there's a very nice little gust to stop anyone, please. Those fights, man, they just get so scrappy. Love it.
Yeah, big flank attempt from Varus. Scouting this one. And Peruna also scouts Living, but she can fight.
That back getting interrupted is actually pretty important because the Ming does need permanent. Much for Super Overalls. Not that there would have been a
Positionally
fight.
here still though, I would say by super boosted Böppeltruppe. Stay scouting the bottom boss, they know what's up. Besides being coming a bit late, still have the position.
Both
Yes,
sides
now.
are
Yeah.
here. There's 5 seconds until Gus, so it will be available for the fight. That is a very important cooldown for you to remember as we're continuously looking at the boss coverage. But Super and Super seemingly just don't fight. And you know why? That
20 lead.
Indeed. You have passed the exam, now you can cast. I don't know why we're doing this 3 maps in but look.
That's the exam. I have my final exam next week. It's here, but it's not hot.
Oh no.
No hot exams, yeah.
Well, the boss is gonna get the 4 down. That's just the start. And Super Unstoppabros are up against a wall and also hard place because they can't really give this curse. But they also can't really fight. They don't have 20, and there's also a boss that they have to defend. Böppeltruppe are actually looking for a win here, I think. And the earlier they get to engage, the better it will be for them because Tip cannot strike back, and there's still no level 20 on the side of Unstoppabros. So Samu and Morph, you're better gonna get. Oh, maybe the team just doesn't want to. They are playing nice and steady. Have Unstoppabros
Oh, that is a
holding
good
back.
repulsion
Ooh,
here.
that's going to be a bunch of damage, but there's a sound
Anti-arrow.
there. A very nice arrow, but the wind tunnel makes sure that Whirl Croquette cannot join the fight. Blaze is dead already, and they are just gonna keep going through.
Oh,
There's
I
going to
think
be
the
a
last
Rasmus,
right
and
gets
here is
touched.
Rasmus, and here is dodging the last right. It's actually pretty powerful here, securing the kill on the Ling Ling. The boss is killed, and this is not going to be the game end just yet. I think. I don't know. Maybe they still just confine and die, but
This can also be very risky here at this point, because
the curse is done,
if
and
they
look at
lose
the
this
scamp
one.
actually picking up some damage on the creep. So it's
Yeah.
not like Super and Super Bros don't have their play on their side. Both sides are slowly going towards the point where one fight is enough to win the game. I think so. Well, Böppeltruppe definitely are at that point already. Super and Super Bros not quite there just yet, but creeping up closer and closer. So they might not have some on the seat. We have Pharrell moving towards potential fight plays, but the Blaze is in the base and you can't fight without him.
Surprised they completely retreated from this idea from Team Blue. Because we have seen the cap on bottom showing that there might be at maximum 3 units.
I mean, it would be an interesting idea to try and force a fight there from Team Blue, but once Meltel gets in there, you're just stuck fighting 4v5, and I don't think that's a position you want to be in. And that's not a position you ever want to be in if you are one fight away from losing the game and the series and the cup. So the boss is gonna just get reset. This time around, they're not gonna try and find a fight. Pretty nice by Super and Softballs. Just fishing for something. There's going to be a shield from the Johanna.
Oh,
And ooh,
the
and here's
kidnap
connect
connecting on
on
the
the
show.
JoJo's. That's going to be the engage. Verse already goes
Oh,
into the
wow.
backline. That's going to be a wind tunnel for the lifetime. Peruna
And
gonna
Lewis
get
actually getting punished here from the
blown up by the Malphel here. Hanzo's dead as well. The bunker will save Imperius and Irel, but just for a little bit, as Lucas has been the main target for now. Blaze is dead, Tommy. Not in a
It's
good
once
position.
more what I said with the counter engaging. The situation looks so
all
stable here for Super
and
Unstoppabros. We've
there's the team
seen
wipe.
an insane TP here from Dami to Henna, while there was actually 4-man hammer throw onto the entire backline. But in the same moment, Shuttle actually managed to hit the Q, stun cleanse onto Johanna while she came back from, from the falling sky. And just to completely save Johanna here with a big sustain
In
into
the end, Böppeltruppe just got enough patience in them to, while falling behind every single game, just sweep all of them. Congratulations to Böppeltruppe, or boosted Böppeltruppe even. The boosts have worked, and they have won Division 2.
Oh, jeez.
That does mean that we will get to talk with Summit today, which is not a thing that I would have expected, but here we are now.
Uh-huh.
If I recall correctly, we shall be having an interview. I would like to pretend that because their team has a casting manager, you would have the sense to realize that you do not know how this works. But yeah, congratulations to Pop- commiserations to Super Unstoppabros. Honestly, just a little bit of a fights difference in the end. All three games have been decided by those fights, and maybe a little bit of patience would have helped, but on the other hand, it always gets so shaky when the fight starts that you actually don't really know in the end. All in all, Super and Super Bros were the ones stomping the playoffs. 6-0 before the finals, but they are gonna be the ones who end up getting stomped in the final itself.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, people?
They're listening to music.
Oh,
We are not listening to music. If you meant us.
Marlo.
Yeah, Marlo.
but
Yo,
Böppeltruppe,
Malu.
the Division 2
And
Cup
hi, Josh.
champions. Hello, hello.
Oh,
Hello.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks.
So, how's the feels?
great. Just say great.
We're consuming some alcohol later.
Full party.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're allowed to say that on stream though.
Yeah,
Where's-
this is why I stopped saying it. But
Hey, this is not PG-13, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Look,
exactly.
we
Apple
will
juice,
cut
apple
it out.
juice.
We will cut it out in post. So,
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, so then
no
drugs,
Snapchat.
weapons. Who
come
cares?
on, that doesn't mean you have to keep saying this. So yeah, usually there would be some member of the board joining to tell you about the amazing prizes that you have won.
There's someone coming soon. I just don't know when they're coming.
Great,
Delivery difficulties.
I mean,
great. So you have won both of your previous 2 series in the cup with a score of 3-2, getting to game 5 in both sets. I would have expected this series to go the same. Didn't actually expect the 3-0. Did you?
No.
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 I mean,
Like going into the series, just from the infos yesterday, how we played yesterday and stuff, I would really expect it was gonna be a nice series. It's gonna be a 3-2 in some way, of course, as well. But yeah.
we were kind of
we-
inting like the last 2
Yeah.
games.
Like
we were also more focused today than we were on the previous ones because of the, I don't know, pressure. I guess.
maybe it's about us not like it's Saturday, you know, we didn't have to work today.
Yeah, no work, more rested.
Yes.
That's something.
work?
Actually,
What
I'm
does work?
curious. I'm curious about how you viewed your last 3 wins, or in general the way you approached coming back from kind of a behind position. You say it was more a comp differential, the team fights you've been playing, the way you've been looking, how the enemy fought throughout